Hey guys, welcome back. BDCKR here. We're back with our weekly Q&A. This is Season 3, Episode 22. Getting right into the questions, the first one comes from Noah Guzman, and they say, two things. Do you think the Tantu Totem can counter Injustice 2 Superman's passive ability? And secondly, if you were to pick the best overall card and put the Overpowered Pill, Astro Harness, and Tantu Totem, how good do you think that would be?
Alright, so I guess maybe I want to talk about two things. It's an interesting approach, but the first part is it definitely counters as Injustice 2 Superman's passive, but the way to sort of counter it would be to block, because it does a little bit of damage and then they lose the power. So that way you can save your shield for a time when it's somebody else doing the special. But I've said before that the Overpowered Pill. All right, so and I'm gonna say I know that's not the name. It's Overpowered Super in Elite speak, but saying that just never seems right to me. It's the Overpowered Pill. Anyways, it's a single best basic damage gear because of damage boosting. You can see it right now in this team when we showed you the gear that it's on Flashpoint Batman. Right, we've had it since it was given as a season reward.
Yeah.
Single best basic damage gear because of damage boost, crit chance boost, and two separate effects, life drain and power drain, that both happen on basic attacks on the combo enders. So it's great. Astro Harness is a single best tank gear with the repeated periods of invulnerability. And now the Tantu Totem is a single best specialist gear. So if you're talking about using two of them, right? The best specialist gear and the best tank gear. But if you used all three on one character, you've got someone who's really well-rounded, so they're decent or even good at everything.
Especially if they started out already pretty good.
Right.
Somebody like Injustice 2 Superman.
Right. But the problem is, maybe it's not a problem for the way some people play, they can't be great. Right? And it's a matter of degree, so if you put all three, then they're going to be well-rounded. If you swap out one and focus on one sort of aspect, they'll be a little bit better. But best is if they focus on all gear slots on one sort of approach.
Yeah, because I mean, they have enough that if they were okay before, at least they'd probably be pretty good, right? Just playing around the strengths of the gears.
Right.
But I don't think they could be great or spectacular in the same way that we just saw, like, what was that, a single combo take him out?
Right. And that's not even he's not even really maxed out, right, for basic damage, because if he had, like, he doesn't really need the Nth Metal Morningstar, because the secondary effect, he's gonna stun anyways on a special one.
Yes, there.
So if we gave him different teammates, he might actually be able to do, he'd be able to do more basic damage.
Yeah. So I think at the end of the day, it's better to have each of those gears on separate cards so that each can be great at whatever, like, kind of one thing they do.
Right. And for now, there's some passives and some gears that will punish for tagging out, but none of them will punish you bad enough that makes tagging in and tagging out quickly as fast as you can entirely unattractive.
Yeah.
Except for maybe Arkham Knight Batgirl. No, so Arkham Knight Harley Quinn, where she can, if she's not the first player, she's on the bench, she comes in and does some damage to your guy tagging in. So actually, you'll see if we ever face it in this Flashpoint team, my strategy, if I'm going to tag somebody in and Arkham Knight Harley Quinn is on the sidelines, it's going to be the guy with Astro Harness, because then I don't care. It doesn't do a bunch of damage, and then I get the advantage of tagging in and out for the little bit of protection from Aquaman.
Yeah.
So, and it used to be different before, when the League of Assassins gear was first released.
Oh, that's true. When it affected everybody, basically anytime you swapped in.
Right. So it was
not basically anytime you swapped in.
Yeah, and it was just awful. So it really wasn't worth it. But now tagging out is at worst a minor annoyance. So I'm actually happy to rely on a team that does that a lot.
That's true. So there we go. Our next question comes from Phoenix Lord 66, and they say, so blue arrow power drains upon opponent attempting to use specials. Would super move be affected? And does it always drain a bar of power, or can it drain more? The poison arrow triggers when the opponent is blocking. Red arrow does what, though?
Alright, so I sort of want to answer this question with what we've got, but part of me also wants to give a little bit of an editorial, because I think I really wanted to like Rebirth Green Arrow, but I'm not enjoying playing with him, because the arrows seem to have not enough of an effect, and again, it's
5 seconds.
Opportunity cost. So even when he tags in himself and his arrow automatically does damage, you don't need the 5 seconds, the window for them to do something.
Yeah.
It still doesn't seem to do enough to make it worth using him over somebody else who has either better passive or could also be somebody else. We've got a full Rebirth team anyways, right?
Yeah. To me, what really frustrates me is that 5-second countdown where I see the swap in and I see the arrow and just nothing happens, right?
Oh.
Like that to me, 5 seconds doesn't feel like long enough to really plan anything around it.
And it goes back to the same thing, right? There's lots of things that can be okay, but if it's the frustration, right?
Yeah.
So even if it almost, maybe not almost, in some ways it would be almost better if you didn't have that. That it would only show up in the times where it was going to trigger.
Yeah.
And that way you wouldn't have to be looking at it thinking, come on, trigger, 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 and then you get all peeved when it disappears.
Yeah, because especially when you see the blue, like that time that when you actually get to have them eat a special, basically, and try to use it and use all their energy, that's really satisfying. So every time a blue shows up and it's not going to trigger a special, I can just imagine really not having a good time with that.
Right. So actually answering your specific question, I'm actually not sure that it's draining power, because based on the on-screen text, it's blocking a special, right? So they're spending the power in an attempt to use a special. And I think this matters because in answer to your second question, so does it always drain a bar of power, or can it drain more? It means someone could lose a second bar of power if they're attempting a special 2 instead, and the arrow's in effect.
Yeah.
So if you're facing Rebirth Green Arrow, you can avoid losing power as long as you don't try to use a special. You just wait it out, 5 seconds later, then you use your special.
Yeah.
So there's no...
So it's going to be really easy to kind of plan around when you know what each one does.
Yeah.
I don't think he's actually going to be that much of a threat in defense for sure.
So the bottom line, I think, for the colors, I'm pretty confident that the color of each arrow signifies a potential effect, and it's possible they're always triggered the same way, but I'm still not convinced, and we'd have to see more gameplay. But I'm not really tempted to play them more often, because I'm not really. I shouldn't say never. When we first had a silver team, I don't know if you remember when we first started. And best cards were Silver Harley Quinn, Silver Regime Green Arrow, and I can't remember who the third person was, but those are the best ones. We happened to be getting extra copies to promote them.
Yeah.
And that was the way of that I was making it through the single player mode.
Mm.
And I liked
Well,
using
the only mode back then.
I guess you're absolutely right. Yep. And I enjoyed them enough, but as soon as I start getting other guys, I found the rhythm. There's something just, I guess, ineffable, indefinable, but the way a character feels when you play them. That's why I've always loved the flashes, no matter which ones they are.
Yeah.
Because they handle so nicely. All right, yeah. So that was easy because All right, so that was our last question. But so we're gonna get to enjoy a little bit of gameplay, but that's why I like the Flashpoint Batman as our first slot guy, because if it happens that there's somebody like Red Lantern Hal Jordan, where, I mean, he's a perfect example. His health is where he's powered. We can take him down in one combo, and often you'll get one free combo right at the beginning, where they're not blocking. And if you're fast enough, even if they block, then we can tag in Aquaman to eat something with his Astro Harness.
I know they kind of had to, but I wish they didn't nerf Red Lantern Hal Jordan back when he was crazy.
And he wasn't even that bad. I mean, to me, it makes the most sense to nerf somebody if they're going to frustrate other players on defense. And there's a good counter to him.
Which is a tank.
Sure.
Any tank, really.
And he's going to just, as long as you can sort of eat his specials, then you just have to wait him out a little bit.
Containment Suit Doomsday was actually a wonderful counter to him.
Yeah. Alright, so this is going to be a little bit interesting. We want to not build up a bar of power, or if we build up a bar of power, we want to be in the middle of Flashpoint Deathstroke's special 1 when Rebirth Raven tags in, because somehow there's a glitch. She does not trigger her passive, even if I've got an extra bar of power, more power than her after I've done my special 1.
Yeah.
That it just won't trigger a passive. And what's funny about this the way they've set up the team, this is why team position matters. Arkham Knight Batgirl is kind of wasted here. Because what I don't want to do when she's on the sidelines is knock somebody out on the chance that she's going to come in and stun. So this is perfect because we don't want her to be coming in. And we're happy to... Ooh, she's going to tag out, I think. Oh, maybe not.
One more hit.
Get lucky?
One more hit.
Yeah, because we triggered her resurrection once.
Yeah.
And that's perfect. So Rebirth Raven comes in. She doesn't take a bar of power from us. Man, I love his Flashpoint Batman is ridiculously good. Oh, there's a little love tap right at the end.
Quick.
All right. And that is that. We're getting close to the end of the year. Getting close to Christmas.
Yeah, happy almost Christmas, guys.
Thanks so much for watching.
We'll see you next time.
Komoda.